Y'all came to this podcast for different reasons, but y'all came to the same place. So now I'm asking more of you than I ever have before, maybe all. Sure as I know anything, I know this. We are going to continue to talk about Firefly for a very long time. So no more running. We aim to misbehave. Gee, I wonder what the topic of today's session is going to be. Hey, everybody.
Star Wars?
Yeah, that's it. We're going to talk Star Wars.
That's like a session from now
Castle.
or something.
It's monkey business.
We talk Castle?
Yes, we can talk Castle. Space
Yay.
Cowboys.
Space Cowboy.
And today
Halloween.
we're going to
Halloween
have
episode,
a
yes.
truncated discussion about a truncated show. And
There's a lot of comics and stuff.
a lot of comics, a lot of extended universe stuff. There's a lot of fan fiction out there.
There's a
Is there fan fiction about
role-playing
everything? There's a
game.
role-playing game. And we're going to talk about the Joss
everything.
Whedon genius of Firefly.
Gone
13
but not
episodes
forgotten.
and a lifetime of disappointment coming if you're a fan of this show, which I am. Millions of people have tried to pull a resurrection, of the likes of Star Trek. Pulled back from the brink there, but it didn't work out so well. But that's all right. That's fine. We can handle it. We really can.
Do you want some tissues?
I need a tissue, please.
Tito,
Start
get him a
crying.
tissue.
He breaks down sobbing.
Set in the year 2517. The best quote I could come up with, I was reading in this interview with Joss Whedon, and he basically described it as 9 people looking into the blackness and seeing 9 different things. All right, so nothing changes. Technology advances, but it's still the same political, ethical, moral problems that we deal with today. We can boil it down to how far we haven't come as humanity sometimes, but a really kind of a great way of having that social commentary as well as that whimsical looking forward that sci-fi likes to bring us. Premiered on September 20th of 2002, canceled after only 11 episodes. 13 are on the DVD.
I don't know if they showed them all. I don't
No,
remember.
they never even got around to showing all the
No,
episodes that
but
they
they showed
produced.
them out of order to begin
And they
with.
showed them out of order. I think Fox really kind of bungled the whole thing to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, they kind of they insisted that they show out of order. They wanted to jump right in. They kind of blew
They
the story
wanted
right off the
action
bat.
because they showed the pilot and they wanted, could you make something with more action?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like they said, well, the only one we had more action was a train robbery.
The train job.
So we'll do that one first.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to know how they all get together.
No, why would we need backstory? Why would we need to understand?
So
And-
going with that,
Go ahead.
do you think that Fox was even committed to this show from the get-go, or they just did it for the heck of it?
No.
No. I mean, well, think about it. Think of what Fox has had on the air over the years. I mean, yeah, they've had some good shows over the years, but they've
Harmon's
also...
Head?
Yeah. Yeah, you think so?
No.
No, I was going to say. I was about to wait, really? And then...
Because it just seems like they didn't want to let things flow naturally with the show. They wanted to control every aspect, and, by wanting to show things out of order and do this and do that, it just makes me wonder that if they committed to it and then, somewhere in a, high-end conference room realized, oh, we don't want to do this, but we've already invested too much money, so let's just let it go, but we're going to cancel it when we deem it necessary.
And then keep what are some of the lowlights of Fox TV out there? Were they behind
Hotel
the Kardashians?
Baltimore.
Hotel Baltimore. Yeah, I mean all these shows that they hung in there on for
Joe
multiple
Millionaire,
seasons. Joe, oh God, but here they are. They're canceling Firefly.
Well, science fiction shows cost a lot of money to make because it's space. Space is expensive.
Special effects.
Yeah,
special effects can get expensive. Let's go around the table real quick. Now, Billy, you've watched Firefly?
Oh yeah, I love it. I didn't catch on till maybe long after it was canceled. No, a friend of mine handed me the DVDs. Said, "Watch this." I said, "Okay," and I loved it.
And I'm ready for season 2, and that's the big joke among the diehard fans. Who's your favorite character of the originals?
Ooh, that's a good question. Jane is almost the easy one but I almost think Mal.
Okay.
Mal,
the captain himself.
Yeah, I think the captain is my favorite.
Tanya.
Kaylee.
Kaylee. Okay. And you notice with Joss Whedon, there are certain signatures. There's going to be the heavy duty badass. There's going to be the thoughtful one. There's going to be the philosophical one. Then there's going to be the cute one. Let's go back to Willow in Buffyverse.
Wait, there was no one big guy in Buffy. Unless you're
No,
talking
Buffy
Angel.
was the big guy.
Well,
Come on.
She's the badass.
Well, no, think about it, though. Also, Angel. You know, Spike filled the role
but
for a
he
little
was
while.
a brooding guy.
Well, there's always a brooding guy in every story. It's not just a Joss Whedon thing. I mean, Batman, for crying out loud. Brooding guy. All right. Your favorite character there, Becca?
I don't know any characters.
You don't know any...
Have you not seen it?
Oh.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have to school her.
Yeah.
Marathon.
That's it. I've got...
That's okay. She's fired.
No, she's not fired. She
And
just
wait,
needs
she's
to be-
my intern, too.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I have the authority to fire her.
Yes, well, no.
Your homework is to go find Firefly and watch it.
There
As
you
soon
go.
as I find time.
As long as my wife isn't here, I'll throw in Zoe. She loved Zoe.
Zoe was a great
Zoe.
character. Very balanced and had that dry sense of humor.
Yep.
From
And
I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Cleopatra
Tony's like chomping at the bit.
25.
Oh, the Cleopatra 25 one. That was a freaking hilarious show. Tony, who's your favorite of them?
It's going to sound weird, but the ship Serenity.
You just
The ship has its own character and its own nuances.
It's got quirks.
Its own
that's the thing.
quirks.
And a good sci-fi show, the ship is, like think of it, like Star Trek. The Enterprise is its own character.
Andromeda.
Andromeda, and because the Andromeda has its own avatar, she was very hot. And then
Lexa Doig, yes.
in Doctor Who,
She's married to
One of
Daniel
the-
Jackson.
yep,
From
Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate.
Yeah. In Doctor Who, the TARDIS is in essence its own character. So so pointing out the Serenity is a great tip. Now for me, one of my favorite characters was I had my two favorites were Simon and Inara. The ones you don't expect. I mean, Simon didn't
I do
really
like Inara.
drive a lot of the action, but I like the way he kind of added almost a sense of reality to it sometimes. Even though he was this above average person, I like how he just kind of observed what everybody was doing and going, you guys are out of your freaking mind, right? Like one of my favorite lines was in the we talked about the Jane episode where he's the hero of Canton, and they're looking at the statue of Jane, and he looks and goes, this is what going mad feels like, and no, this is what must going mad feels like. I get it. How about you, Wayne? Who's your favorite?
Book.
The Shepherd book.
Because there's this whole undercurrent that you don't have no idea who he is.
Exactly.
Except like,
Thought it
hi,
was so great.
I'm just a little priest here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I got shot. Here's my axe. Get me, and then we got to get him in.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know who you got, but we know.
The good book is very clear on killing, but it's a little fuzzy on kneecaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Helen's favorite character's Wash.
Okay.
And she was so...
Well, the comic relief, but also he had a level of morality. He kind of
did.
made him stop and think every so often. Are we really doing this, people? Dee, how about you? Who's your favorite?
I never got one because by the time I found it, it was gone.
Aww.
So I've never really bothered to spend the time to watch it because it disappeared as fast as it showed up.
All right,
Do you have a
we're
DVD player?
We're sending Becca over with the DVDs. You're going to watch them together.
I have them.
I've got 2 sets.
He's got 2 sets.
we got everyone covered.
We got it covered.
Marathon, Firefly.
Firefly Marathon. How about you, Sybil?
Wash and Simon. Those are my 2 favorites.
All right. Curse you for your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
It just goes back to the Enterprise scene doing AQ
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with the dinosaurs, and then Kelsey and Emily coming in looking for
And
the puzzle
stealing 'em.
pieces and stealing this, and then like, oh, that's mine, and that's mine, and,
And
that's
Alex
mine.
is so betrayed.
Oh,
like-
that
they're like,
was
"What?"
all the videos that we did for FC3 so far. That's been my favorite. Just that montage
yeah.
of stuff was just so much fun to do, and the kids just rose to the challenge. It was great.
With the little Hawaiian shirt
the whole-
on.
yeah.
Yes, that kind of stuff.
And I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but but
They
Wayne,
canceled the series.
I'm not. Do you know where I'm going right now?
No.
Then shush. All right.
Do we have something to throw at him?
No. Ha ha.
The skull.
Yeah, throw Herman. But no, not to give away any spoilers, but Wayne had touched on Shepherd Book and the mystery of his background and whatnot. And Tanya, your husband Randy had given me those graphic novels that had been drawn that give you Book's background. You actually find out where Shepherd Book comes from, what his motivation is. I speak good English. And how he came to be on the Serenity and what it meant for him to be there. So I'm not going to give any of it away, but if you get a chance out there, dear listener, there are graphic novels. They're called The Shepherd's Tale. There's 3 of them.
I need to find those.
And they're phenomenal. They're just a lot of...
I think we might have them in my house.
I think you do, because that's where I got them. But they're a great read, and they tell you all about this character. And like it said in the book or in the movie, Mal asks Shepard Book, one of these days you're going to tell me about how you know so much, and Shepard's like, no, I'm not, and you kind of get that idea that no, you're really not going to find out. But then it was great. You kind of get that peek into his world. So it was a very cool, very well written story.
But the thing about this show is it's such a great combination of drama, comedy, action. It's
with a Western.
With the Western theme to it.
It's
a space cowboy story.
I'm talking about speaking good English today.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not a Western fan genre per se, but this one just sucked me in.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at we talked about Killjoys. Killjoys is a Western.
I feel Firefly is what Gene Roddenberry originally wanted Star Trek to be, because Gene Roddenberry wanted Star Trek to be a space western.
Wagon train to the stars. That's what Gene commonly described. For the confused look across the table there, when in a lot of interviews, Gene Roddenberry, when talking about when he was creating Star Trek, that was what the thought that was in his mind was the wagon train to the stars. He wanted that frontier. That field, that exploring out.
Circle the wagons?
No, that may have been necessary.
If you notice, the doctor, like McCoy or the other doctor was in the pilot, they're all like Western actors because he wanted the old doctor.
Yep.
He wanted the doctor to be the older
that old
character.
country doctor feel.
Yep.
And so then having that whole, the advanced sci-fi, the spaceships, the guns, the going out and exploring different planets, but with that Western kind of feel to it give you that pioneer spirit. So,
I learned something new today.
There you go. See, we're educational and informative. Sybil, I know that you were really especially jonesing to be part of this particular conversation today. I knew you were really excited about it. So what about Firefly is what really kind of appeals to you the most, that you really just need to be a part of it?
It's one of those shows that it brings in so many different elements for people who Again, like you said, you love the sci-fi, you have that. You love Westerns, you have that. You also have the alliance versus the independence. You have, the people versus the government. You have all of this all boiled into these 9 individuals and their fight to just stay alive.
Plus, it's well-rounded characters that you want to hang out with.
And that's a point that I want to bring up is I think Joss Whedon has always been very good at the story is always good and very deep, but it's secondary to the people who are involved in it.
And even Jane may not always be likable, but you don't dislike him.
Yeah.
Doesn't he go to his bunk often?
No, just that. I'll be in my bunk.
And he wanted to trade his gun for Mal's wife.
Right.
I mean,
Mal was married?
He betrayed.
It was all a sham. Basically, they run into this con artist who was played by Christina Hendricks. And
it's one of my favorite episodes.
It's just a great episode. He suddenly finds himself that he's married to this girl, and come on, every show needs a hot redhead. That's all I'm putting out there. And he brings out Vera. This is when you're introduced to Vera, my very favorite gun, and he's like, here, I will give you this gun if you let me have the girl. It's pure Jane. It's in his mind, the logic made sense.
This is my favorite gun.
I mean, yes, Mal, you have to understand, this is my favorite gun. What makes it so significant? No, it's my favorite gun.
It's never done him wrong.
I want to go to the crummy town where I'm the hero.
Yeah. But I think it's like, Billy and I were just touching on it a moment ago. The characters, you want to see what they're up to. You want to see what they're talking about. And the story becomes secondary to that, to see how the characters are going to handle these situations that they find themselves in. What are they going to say? How are they going to behave? And so it kind of made it a 1-2 punch. You into these characters' lives. You want to know more about them. You want to be a part of them. And the stories were secondary, as I was saying, but they're just as good. They're just as developed and just as cool as to see how things were unfolding. And I think the movie, when they kind of start tying a whole bunch of stuff together in the movie, it really kind of, it opens your eyes to just how far the rabbit hole went, I suppose, is how I'll describe it. Oh, I'm sorry. This just in. Fox has heard that we were talking about Firefly. They've canceled the podcast.
Oh.
Bye,
so
everybody.
I guess we're going to have to.
And this one will never even air.
This one will never even. Yeah. It's just. We were making that joke when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was getting close to being released for the first time. I made the joke on Facebook at one point that Fox had heard about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Joss Whedon was behind it, so they canceled it. And we're like, somebody had to tell Fox that it's not even on your channel.